this is Eric Martin, Report Game Geek. I'm here with Pat Moreno and Ross Thompson from the Op, looking at Die Hard, the Nakatomi Heist
board game.
And hope we can get an overview here. This is not production level quality of the game yet, but we can learn how it works.
That's
what we're doing. Who we are.
Who we
I think
are.
We know who we are, yes?
Who are we?
Are we John McClane? Do we all get to be John McClane? Or?
We don't all get to be John McClane. Okay. One person gets to be John McClane, but yes, you are playing as John McClane. Okay. So it is a one versus all game. So one person is playing as John, our hero, and then the other people are playing as the thieves.
Okay.
And so, Pat, you want to explain the game a little bit?
Yeah, so what we have is a really faithful retelling of the film where, as Ross said, you have one player is John McClane. The other 1 to 3 players work together as the thieves who are trying to rob Nakatomi Plaza. And so we have an asymmetrical game where the thieves are working cooperatively, but as you remember in the film, John gets one of the radios, so their communication is somewhat limited in how they play cards cooperatively to move the thieves through Nakatomi Plaza. John is, of course, trying to take out as many thieves as he can and stop their plan before they can kill all the terrorists and get away with the money. So one of the things I really like about the game is this 3-act gameplay. So we have a quad-fold board, and what we're showing kind of here is acts 1 and 2. And so when you play the game, you take the board out of the box, and it's folded up, and it's quad-fold, and Act 1 is on the back.
Right.
So you play through this small Act 1. There's different objectives for John McClane and for the thieves. And once that act is completed, you unfold the board once, and you have Act 2, and then you unfold it the second time to have the full quad board opened up for Act 3, which adds the roof of the tower and some extra things that are there with the final showdown, of course, with Hans Gruber at the end.
And so everything that you're doing in Act 1 and 2 is carrying over. You're getting rewards or getting ammunition or weapons or something?
Yeah, so there's kind of 2 continuing tracks that happen in the game. So for John McClane, there are these great action cards that have an Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 ability. So the cards that John uses in an act, he passes forward into the next act, and they get more powerful. The cards he chooses not to use, and he's going to be forced to choose not to use some cards, and as he takes damage, he's going to lose cards, go out of the game forever. So,
so reverse deck building, if you want to do it in game terms, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the choices John makes early in the game will influence the opportunities he has later in the game as he plays. Meanwhile, the thieves have this timer of the 7 vault locks on the Nakatomi vault that they're trying to break through. And so as they're playing their cards, which you can kind of see here, there's numbers on them. And so every turn, the thieves will play 3 of these cards together. The middle value card determines what actions they can use to move the thieves around on the board. So, for example, if this 15 was the middle, they can punch John, they can shoot at him twice. Those are their choices for the turn. The high and low cards are used to pick the vault lock. So they are used to kind of hack the digital locks. And you see the white numbers, so if these were the high and low, the 15 and 17, you'd have a 5 and a 7. And there's a series of lock cards where you place markers as you break through the different combinations. Throughout the 3 acts, the thieves have to get through 6 of the locks, and then the 7th lock is the one that's triggered by the power outage. So in order to get that last vault lock, they have to detonate the roof of the building. So they have to kind of get through all the locks before they get to Act 3, and then in this sort of climactic moment, they have to either blow up the roof or hopefully have Hans Gruber stay alive long enough to get away with the money. So it's a very tense ending. Of course, John is fighting for his life the whole time. As the thieves attack him, he loses more and more cards. If he ever runs out of action cards, he collapses and dies, and the thieves win. So there's a couple different ways for the game to end, but we've seen in a lot of our testing, one of the things that's great is we're in Act 3. It's down to if John doesn't win on this turn, the thieves are going to get away with the money, and it's really that question of is who's going to get it first. Which is what we wanted that action feel for this game.
Okay. How does it differ if there's only one player playing the thieves? They get to choose all the cards that are being played?
No, so the way it works is, well, kind of back it up to a 3-player thief game. So 1 player each turn is the lead thief, so they can show 1 card to their 2 teammates, and then they play it face down. The other 2 players have to play blind into that based on the knowledge that they've kind of determined. So it's kind of like that, the mind aspect of like, you've shown me one thing. What
result do we collectively want out of this?
And so we're all playing our cards in together. When you take a thief out and you have 2 players, you draw the top card of the deck. Both players look at it, and then they each add a card from their hand. And then in a single-player game, they play 1 card blind from the deck. look at one card on the deck and then add one from their hand.
Okay.
So it kind of scales that player count, but keeps that like, okay, that sort of Yomi
things aren't going to work out
like,
exactly right.
But it's always like, okay, what actions do we want, but what numbers do we need to get through this lock as quickly as we can?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else to say? I mean, that carries us through all 3 acts.
That kind of carries around all of it.
This story, yeah.
Yeah. And so there's the box, if you can look right there, which is pretty exciting. And so like one of the things we got with this game that's very neat that I really enjoy is kind of like with a lot of the US Apple games, as we're telling stories, like either the cards get added in or the board evolve. And so like, we've been playing a lot with this game where it goes from Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3, and it really does capture that whole action experience, which has been a lot of fun. So I'm really excited for it to come out.
Okay. Expected release date?
We'll share this game out in, I believe it's June.
June sounds right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
June 2019. Thank you very much, Pat and Ross.
Thank you.
For
Thank
a
you.
review of Die Hard, the Nakatomi Heist board game. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.